Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a story about a boy who passed away in Flint, Michigan. He was 255 pounds at the time of his passing, and his parents are being charged with murder and child neglect in connection with it. According to the autopsy, he died of a heart disease that is often associated with obesity. Also, based on all the evidence, it seems that the 7-year-old child was bedbound. The police report also shows the family is living in squalid conditions. We're going to be learning a little bit more about this story today, so be sure to stick around until the end. I usually try to keep things pretty lighthearted and funny on this channel. Unfortunately, this story is neither one of those things. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
Well, just a heartbreaking story out of Flint tonight where a couple is facing second-degree murder and child abuse charges relating to the death of their 7-year-old son.
Police say they found out about the boy's death from the mother. They say she called 911 on November 4th, telling dispatch her son Casper was not breathing.
Now, according to the police complaint, when they arrived on the scene, they found the conditions inside the home to be horrible. Courtney Bennett has that story.
The situation at the house was just deplorable conditions, a really difficult situation involving hoarding.
Genesee County prosecutor.
Okay, so they were hoarding as well. And it's really hard to imagine a 7-year-old that's 255 pounds.
David Layton says beyond the cleanliness of the home, officers were met with a child in distress.
The child had morbid obesity, was 7 years old, 255 pounds.
That is very morbid.
Ultimately, he passed away due in part to the obesity.
Like I said in the beginning, the heart disease that the child passed away from is largely associated with obesity. This is a really insane and messed up story, and it's completely wild to pass away from obesity-related conditions at the age of 7.
This is 7-year-old Casper O'Brien's obituary on the Sharp Funeral Home website. It reads, Casper was a bright, loving young boy whose joyful spirit touched everyone around him. Now his parents, Jessica and Damian O'Brien,
Okay, here are the parents.
are charged in the young boy's death.
So these are the two pieces of work that basically fed a child until he passed away. Allegedly, according to the reports.
And are charged in the young boy's death.
We felt this is a case of abuse, a case of neglect, and a case of torture. And we ended up bringing
Torture?
very difficult and harsh charges.
Those charges include second-degree murder, torture, 2 counts of child abuse in the second degree, and
Okay, they did charge them with torture, second-degree child abuse, presence of another child, second-degree child abuse. Okay, so it looks like they're throwing the book at them, as they should. They were living in squalid conditions and feeding this kid so much that he ballooned up to 255 pounds at the age of 7. And the purpose of this video obviously is not to make fun of that child for their size or anything like that. A kid is at the mercy of their parents. They don't know how to eat, how much to eat, what to eat. They get all of that from their parents. So also living in hoarded up conditions is not okay. That's just the cherry on top of this case. The rotten cherry. I'm sorry, I have to try to make some kind of joke. There's nothing funny about any of this.
child abuse in the presence of another child. That other child is a 5-year-old girl. When police arrived on that Tuesday morning, they found the young girl to be overweight, dirty, and her hair was knotted.
Okay, she was in a similar condition to the brother.
He was running around naked, and the police officer told the mother to put some clothes on her.
You're joking, dude. Why are there so many cases like this where there is so much extreme neglect? Like kids running around without clothes on in squalid conditions.
5-year-old is now in the care of Child Protective Services. Layton says it's believed the children didn't attend school and possibly had no contact with anyone outside the home.
Okay, so we've got a straight up neglect case. A classic one. I've seen a few of these stories over the years, and it's often the case where the kids don't go to school or anything. I don't know how that's even possible. I don't know how the authorities didn't come knocking on your door being like, hey, why didn't you register your kids for school? How none of the neighbors noticed any of this stuff or anything like that. There was a case a couple years back here in northern Nevada where this lady was locking her kids in the bathroom and not feeding them and stuff, and she never sent her kids to school either. That's always a common theme, which makes sense, I guess, because the school would probably notice all of this and report you to CPS.
We don't believe they went to the doctor other than maybe one time.
At just 7 years old, Casper was 255 pounds, and Leighton tells me he thinks the young boy was bedridden.
Bedridden at 7 years old? Stop. Oh my God, dude. What the hell?
What's baffling to me is that the dad had a good job. He had health insurance, good health insurance. Why they didn't take him to the doctor is beyond me.
I'm honestly surprised the dad had a job. They think the child was bedridden at the age of 7. What the heck?
The online obituary indicates Casper was preceded in death by a brother. I asked Leighton about the other child who died.
We believe that child was stillborn at the same time as the 5-year-old sister was born.
Okay, so they have a previous child that passed away. You believe the child was stillborn? Oh yeah? You really believe that? Prosecuting attorney David Leighton, are you sure?
So we don't believe there's suspicious circumstances there.
I don't know, David Payton, prosecuting attorney. I find the whole thing suspicious. A child has passed away, and you think it's due to these parents' neglect. They have a previous child that passed away several years ago. Probably not due to neglect. It probably wasn't that, right? Are you sure, sir? We should look a little deeper on that.
Now it'll be up to the...
Is that one of those babies that you birthed in a gas station bathroom because you didn't know you were pregnant? Like that show, I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant? That's my second reference to that show in recent times.
prosecutor's office to prove this case. The couple is expected back in court July 2nd.
This case is important because a child's life was taken. And we're going to do our job in the courtroom.
We did reach out to the attorney representing both Jessica and Damien O'Brien. They say they have no comment on the charges.
All right, and the attorneys representing them have no comment. They said they believe the child was bedridden at the age of 7. My gosh, this story is so unbelievably messed up, and the hoarding just adds another layer to it. So these people have 2 children. One passed away. The daughter, the prosecutor said, was morbidly obese and running around naked inside of that hoarded up residence. They have a previous child that was stillborn around the time the daughter was born, like 5 years ago. I believe they said she was like 5. I personally don't buy the idea that the first child didn't pass away due to suspicious circumstances. I'm sure there was something suspicious going on with that situation. Michigan parents face murder and child abuse charges in death of 7-year-old boy who weighed 255 pounds. Months after a 7-year-old boy who weighed 255 pounds died in Michigan, his parents face murder and child abuse charges in connection with his death, court documents say. Casper O'Brien, who lived with his family in Flint Township, Michigan, died on November 4th, 2025 at a local hospital after paramedics responded to a 911 call about a child having difficulty breathing, according to a Flint Township police report. He died of dilated cardiomyopathy, a form of heart disease in which the chambers of the heart become enlarged and too weak to pump blood efficiently, an autopsy report from the Genesee County Medical Examiner shows. The disease is often associated with severe obesity, defined by a BMI of 40 or higher. Okay, so yes, the condition he passed away from is largely associated with obesity. Severe obesity, usually exhibited by individuals with a BMI of 40 or above. The boy's parents, Damien and Jessica O'Brien, were charged on June 23rd with second-degree murder and 3 counts of second-degree child abuse. Court filings show, if convicted, they could face up to life in prison. One of the child abuse charges against the O'Briens is in connection with Casper's sister, prosecutors said when authorities responded to the Michigan home last year, they found the 5-year-old girl dirty with knots in her hair and morbidly overweight, court filings say. She was placed in foster care, the Genesee County Prosecutor's Office told CNN Tuesday. Attorneys for each of the parents said Monday it was premature and too early to comment on the allegations. As in all criminal matters, Mr. O'Brien is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. I will defend Mr. O'Brien in the courtroom, not through the media, said Elias Fanis, an attorney representing Damian O'Brien. Oh my God. At the time of his death, Casper was 4 feet 2 inches tall and had a BMI of 71.7. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely insane. I've heard of some really high BMIs before, but my goodness. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's growth charts show the typical BMI for a boy his age is about 16. Okay, my God. Jessica O'Brien told police she suspected the boy had autism and said he was nonverbal, according to the police report. Or is he nonverbal from neglect and not talking to him ever and just letting him sit in the corner in squalid conditions? Some people abuse a child by never speaking to them and just putting them in the corner and stuff like that. It's actually so messed up. You will never learn how to speak if you're severely abused and isolated from other human beings. Casper wasn't enrolled in school and last saw a doctor in 2024 at an urgent care clinic, his mother told detectives, according to the police report. She noted she only took him to urgent care, the report said. Okay, well, maybe if we had enrolled him in school, he would have started speaking at one point or whatever. I'm not saying the possibility isn't there. Maybe he was nonverbal and autistic, but the possibility is also there that he's just not speaking because he hasn't been exposed to human language and has been kept in a neglectful situation. During that visit to urgent care, he weighed just over 104 pounds and was diagnosed with acute cough, throat congestion, and metabolic disease, according to the Genesee County Medical Examiner. He was also referred to a pediatric endocrinologist, but the boy never saw one, the report said. The family appeared to be living in extreme hoarding conditions with wall-to-wall trash and insects throughout the 3-bedroom home, according to police officer accounts. That is unacceptable on every single level. To have a child in a hoarded up home with insects and garbage everywhere is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Casper didn't like water, which made bathing him difficult, his mother told authorities. Instead, she said, she would use baby wipes 2 to 3 times a week to help him wash up, and estimated Casper's last bath was 6 months before he passed, according to the police report. Okay, so what I'm getting from that is that he was actually bedbound. There's no way he didn't like water. You're bathing him with baby wipes in the bed because he's bedbound, much like people that we've seen on other shows that were bedbound. I don't buy that not liking water story at all. I think this confirms the bedbound allegations. That adds a whole nother layer to this story. This child was so obese he was bedbound in an extremely hoarded up house with insects and garbage everywhere. This whole situation is completely messed up. I don't know how anybody lives like this. I start getting aggravated at just the clutter around the house, and there's no actual garbage funk with it. There's no biological matter that needs to be cleaned up. There's just a little bit of clutter from time to time, and it starts to drive me insane. It starts to make me lose it. I'm like, God damn it, all this freaking clutter. And then I start cleaning up the house until I start to feel better. I don't know how anybody lives like this at all. If I get the slightest bit of clutter in my house, I start getting annoyed, personally. It starts throwing off the feng shui of this whole place. His mother told investigators his daily diet consisted of a large bag of potato chips, French fries, carbonated water, and apple juice, the report said. Okay, so just feeding him nothing but nonsense, constantly. And perhaps the malnourishment contributed to his passing. During police interviews, Jessica and Damian O'Brien told investigators they suffered from mental health issues, the report said. Okay, I hope you guys throw the book at these two. Since they're trying to use this excuse, we have mental health problems. That's why we had to do that to these children. There's no excuse. Mental health is very important, but your mental health stops being an excuse to mess up the moment you have kids. If we don't want to take care of ourselves because we have bad mental health, that's one thing, but you brought children into this world that did not ask to be here, so you're going to have to push your mental health to the side and properly take care of them. It doesn't really matter how we're feeling. I'm not trying to be controversial or have a too hot take. I honestly don't think it is controversial at all. I think most people would agree with me. If we neglect ourselves due to bad mental health, that's one thing, but when you bring children into this world, you're going to have to figure it out. That's no longer an excuse. You can't be neglecting kids. The fact that they wanted to use that excuse makes me lose a lot of sympathy for them. Instead of just being like, yeah, dude, that was really messed up what we did. They were like, it's not our fault. Our mental health is bad. You just lost all sympathy from me, dude. Not that there was any to begin with. There was none to begin with. Whatever sympathy there might have been is completely gone now. Fannis, the attorney representing Damien O'Brien, declined to comment Tuesday on his client's mental health, the boy's health, and how he was cared for, as well as the family's living conditions. Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton described the case as sad and horrific, involving the wanton and willful neglect by two parents for the care, welfare, and medical needs of their son. Their neglect led to the child suffering severe bed sores. Okay, yes, he definitely was bedbound. My God. Various rashes and other physical health disorders, including extreme morbid obesity, that ultimately led to his early death, Layton told CNN Monday. Okay, so that was a really messed up story. Upon further investigation, it seems highly likely that this child was bedbound. They were bathing him with baby wipes. He had bed sores all over his body. I think that's all you need to know right there. The bed sores all over your body indicate that you've been laying in bed for a long time. That is so messed up, man. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So this is a really messed up story, and hopefully the parents are brought to justice. I can't imagine any valid excuse at all for any of this. We're living in squalid, super hoarded up conditions. We've got a bedbound 7-year-old with bed sores all over them who is nonverbal. That might be autism or some other medical condition, or it might be neglect. The whole story is just really messed up and super sad. Either way, what do you think? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.